everyone. I'm here to do an update on all the mystery series that I am reading. So there are going to be some that aren't on the list anymore. I did this video, I think 4 years ago, and they aren't on the list not because I have finished the series. I'm not nearly as good at finishing mystery series as I am at starting them, but some of them I just burn out on. There starts to be kind of a lack of freshness in certain series, and I just step away from it, and I'm totally okay with that. I do like to complete series, and the series that are excellent, I do continue reading them and coming back to those series. I have 29 series here, and this is very distressing though. I have forgotten one. And as I was filming my library mystery haul, it came to me and I thought, I'll write it down when I'm done filming, and now I can't remember what it is. So that's agonizing to me, to think that there could be a mystery series that I enjoy out there that I'm forgetting about. So hopefully, magically, miraculously, it will come back to me. Okay, the first on the list is one with a caveat, and that is the Lord Peter Wimsey series by Dorothy Sayers. People are very enthusiastic about the series, and it has been very much a mixed reading experience for me. I made it about halfway through Gaudy Night and just put it down and never looked back. It was so incredibly cerebral, and Harriet Vane and Lord Peter are just sitting there having these philosophical conversations, and I was bored. I was honestly so bored. But I have spoken with my sister-in-law about this, and she knows exactly how I feel. She said it took her several tries through Gaudy Night. I'm not at all motivated to retry that one, but when I told her that Strong Poison was the highlight for me, she said she is confident that I will love Murder Must Advertise and The Nine Tailors. So I'm planning on reading those two and then just calling it quits with that series. And I just have so many mystery series that I want to read, and it was just so frustrating to try to force my way through Gaudy Night, which I had such high expectations for. So I will try Murder Must Advertise and The Nine Tailors and hopefully love those. I've loved Strong Poison, but that's been the only one out of that series that I have loved. The next one is the Agatha Raisin series, and I think I'm kind of done with this series, but I just did want to say that I'm done. Around book 19, I think, is when the ghostwriting happened, and you can just, it feels very different. The endings, it's like the book will have a conclusion and an ending, and then after that, then there will be more that's rehashed. It just has a weird pacing to it. So I love this series. I'm so grateful for the 19 amazing books. And when I get the urge, I will just pick back up and reread through it. I'm such a rereader. Oh, did I just remember the last? I think I remembered the last series. Oh my goodness. Where's my pen? I need to write it down. I know I have a pen really close by, and now I cannot find it. Okay, I'll talk about it next, so I don't forget it. I am a rereader. I love rereading, and so it's okay that I wish the Agatha Raisin series had ended on a strong note. It didn't, but I really, really enjoyed the ones that I enjoyed, so it's okay. Oh, and those are about a kind of young retiree who retires to the Cotswolds of England, thinks she wants a quiet life, and then it ends up that she is not at all wanting that, and she ends up solving crime to fill up her time. Okay, now the series that I forgot to write. Yes, I totally forgot to write on here. Maybe that... I am just going crazy. All of these series are swirling around in my head. I think it was the Beatrix Potter mystery series by Susan Wittig Albert. I love the 3 that I have read in this. Although I did find I felt a little bit burnt out after the 3rd one, or maybe it was even the 4th one that I read. They follow Beatrix Potter, and then at the same time there's an animal cast of characters, which sounds like it could be really hokey, but it just works. She does it well, and I remember Janelle from Too Fond of Books, when she talked about reading this series, how she thought it worked because the people don't understand the animals. It's not like the animals are just miraculously communicating with the people. They just communicate with each other. They have their own plot lines, and then the people have their separate ones. So it's following the life of Beatrix Potter when she lived on Hilltop Farm, and it's just an incredibly endearing and delightful series. Okay, then the next one is the Her Royal Spinus series, and so I don't have to kind of copy and paste in quite so many. I want to hold up some pictures. Here we go. So here's one from the Royal Spinus series. And they follow Georgiana Ronick, who is of title but not wealth, and her very tumultuous relationship with Darcy O'Mara. And she ends up, wherever she is, there's a dead body. So I love amateur sleuth kind of stories. And I find the character of Georgie so endearing, as she's a young adult trying to figure out how to live life well. And I just love her as a character. Then the next series is the Flavia De Luce series, which I have read. Oh, and I meant to say how many I've read out of each one. So I've read 12 out of 17 in this series. Then for Flavia De Luce, I have read 6 out of the 10, and this is a finished, completed series. And Flavia starts out, she's 11 when the series starts out, and she is very precocious. She loves chemistry and uses that to her advantage often when investigating murders. It's set in the 50s in England. I find it utterly just electric, kind of with the atmosphere that it has to it. And the writing is so clever. And I just find Flavia such an endearing character. Then the next one is the Hercule Poirot series, and I have read 29 out of the 44 in this. The number might be a bit off. I was looking on Goodreads, and I see that Goodreads often either just marks books as read that I haven't read or erases read books. Because there were several in there that as I looked, I was like, I know that I've read that. But I also skipped the short story collections, and I've also read a couple towards the end. So it's like I'm reading the middle of the series. I really overall love this series. There have definitely been some duds in there and ones that I'm just like, when is this going to be done? Which is always a bad sign when the book is less than 300 pages. All that being said, I do love the series, and I find Agatha Christie's skill at weaving such an intricate plot to be really, really just delightful to witness and behold as a reader. Then next is the Inspector Lynley mysteries. I have read 8 out of the 21 in this. I read these with Kate from the novel Nomad. These take so much emotional energy out of me. I am so incredibly attached to Thomas Lynley, who is also Lord Lynley, but he lives kind of as an average person, and his significant other, Helen, and then Thomas Lynley's best friend, Simon St. James, and his wife, Deborah. And just these 4 characters, I am so incredibly invested in what is going to happen to them and their lives, and they are really gritty, intense cases. This is not for the faint of heart, this series, but I just love Elizabeth George's writing. It's incredibly literary. Then the next one is the Lady Emily series by Tasha Alexander. I have read 5 of the 17. These are set in the Victorian era and all about Lady Emily, who in the beginning of the series, she's a widow, and now she is remarried, and basically each book is in a different country, and I love that you get to travel with her. The most recent one was in Normandy, France, and I really loved that setting for it. A couple of them then do go back to England. So I love looking on Goodreads and looking ahead to see what countries she will be visiting. So always an interesting time with Lady Emily, and they're just they feel like sensation novels, and I love that about them. Then the Armand Gamache series by Louise Penny, or the Three Pines series. I have read 15 out of the 18, but I feel so terrified of finishing this series that I have just started a reread of the series. And I just finished a reread of A Fatal Grace, which is the second. So at some point I will finish the series, but Louise Penny keeps releasing new books in the series. So I just felt like starting over, which seems counterproductive, but it doesn't really matter when you're reading for fun. So that's how far I am in that series, sort of. Then a couple series that I'm listing, I've only read 1 of. And the next one is Anthony Horowitz's series, where he has put himself in the series as a sleuth. And the first in the series is called The Word is Murder. I really enjoyed it. I think I tried reading the second one, and it was maybe a bit more grim than I was prepared for. I can't remember if that's the one that I tried a second one in. I don't know, but I did really like this. It was clever. It was very energetic. And I loved the kind of how it breaks the fourth wall and the love for books that is in there. Then the next one is the Charles Lennox series. I've read 5 out of the 15. These are set in the Victorian era, and Charles Lennox is of title, but then he ends up running for political office because he really wants to make a difference in the world. And I find his character utterly fascinating. I find the romance that is in it very endearing, and just an altogether solid kind of bread and butter detective series. Then the next one is the Maisie Dobbs series. So let me find, here we go. Maisie Dobbs, and I have read 14 out of the 18. So this will be the 15th. And I just saw today, as I was making the notes for this video, that the 18th and final Maisie Dobbs book is coming out next year. So maybe next year I'll just have a big Maisie Dobbs fest and kind of finish listening to the series. Now I have to say, Orla Cassidy narrates the audiobooks. I think the first few are maybe somebody different, but I just love her narration. So typically most of them I do as an audiobook, but if I want to read more quickly, I got the physical book out in case I want that. Okay, then let's see. The Pervine Mystery series. Grab a copy of that one. And there are 4 out in this, and I just read the first one. So this is the second one that I'm hoping to read sooner rather than later. I could get caught up with that series very easily. It's fun to kind of eagerly anticipate when one is going to come out. So hopefully I will kind of make sure to keep up with this series because I really did enjoy the first one. So I have high hopes about what I'll think about the rest of the series. It's following Pervine Mystery, who is a lawyer in the early 20th century in Bombay. So a really interesting time for a woman to be a lawyer. And yeah, I just really love historical mysteries, and this one was a really great experience. And I loved the very different kind of location that was there. Set in India. There aren't many series that I read set there, and really like that one. The next series is the Matthew Shardlake series, and I have read 2 out of the 7. So this is one that's on the shorter end, and I think people keep wondering, like, will he write another one? So there's no guarantees. I don't know if an 8th one is going to come out, but it's about a former monk turned lawyer, and it's set during the Tudor era. And I find these to be almost like thrillers. They are so pacey. And I always find the case and the personal things that are happening, kind of side plots, equally interesting. And that is really rare for me with series. So I really, really am excited to read more of this and hopefully just continue to enjoy it a lot. The next series is the Inspector Morse series by Colin Dexter. This is one that I haven't read for a couple years. What happened is I read and really enjoyed the first 4 in the series. Then I DNF'd the 5th, and then I kind of had this crisis of like, should I just DNF the 5th for good and pick up with the 6th, or should I try again? Was I not in the right mood? But now, as I'm saying it, I think I'm just going to DNF the 5th one and move on to the 6th. So out of 13, this is a shorter series. I really like it. It's definitely a bit dated, so it's very 1960s, the way that women are spoken about. I really enjoy it, and I think that I definitely, now that I'm talking about it, I'm excited to try that series again. So hopefully I will like the 6th one better than I did the 5th one. Then the next series is the Grantchester Mysteries by James Runcie. I absolutely adore everything about this series. It's very different in that the books are more like vignettes, and Sydney Chambers is a vicar. And I have to say that this series is so much unbelievably better than the TV series. If you did not like the TV series, how dramatic it got, and like a soap opera, don't judge the books based off that. The books are so much better, and the writing is so poignant, and I love the deeper questions of life that it asks. So I love that, following Sydney Chambers as he's trying to balance being a vicar and doing kind of amateur sleuthing. Okay, then the next one is the Mitford Sisters Mysteries. I have spoken about these a fair amount on my channel, and this is one actually. This will be the 6th out of 6, and I will be caught up on this one until the next one comes out, right? But so I'm not good at staying caught up with series, so this feels pretty exciting to have this that I'll be caught up with, and I love this series. The Mitford Sisters, I wouldn't have wanted to be friends with them. I don't find them altogether likable. And so that's what I think is really interesting about this, is she doesn't paint them with rose-colored glasses. She doesn't make it look like they were just these terribly winsome people. She shows the flaws that they have, but she also shows how they're complex. And so I love seeing them through the gaze of Louisa, who's the main character and the main investigator. And they're so pacey. I feel like I can't turn the pages quickly enough. So love this series. It's definitely a favorite. And then, let's see, the next series is the Max Tutor Mysteries. And I want to find that one. Here it is. So Max Tutor is a former MI5 agent turned vicar, and he is in this little town called Nether Monkslip. I think that's the name of the town. And there's a sort of weird, unusual atmosphere to these books, but I really like it. I can't explain it exactly. I just know that I really like this series, and seeing eventually Max gets married, and so just seeing the little town that he's in, and there's only 8 total in the series, so I'll be halfway through once I read this one. And then the next one is the Constable Evan Evans series by Rhys Bowen, and I just really love this series. I love the little town vibe. I find that's just something that I really enjoy in mystery series. It's set in Wales, and it definitely feels distinct to Wales as opposed to England or Scotland or any other place in the UK. So I just really like this. There's only 10 in the series, so this is this is the 4th out of the 10th. So I'll be almost halfway. And then the Duncan Cade series by Deborah Crombie. I've only read the first in this. It didn't really wow me or thrill me, but I would like to try reading more in this series. I know a number of people that are big fans of it. So also I have access to all of them on audio, and I just love a good mystery on audio. So hopefully I could really enjoy that. Then the Dalgleish series by P.D. James. This is one, there's 14, and I think I've read 6 or 7 because I'm reading them all out of order. Currently, I'm reading The Black Tower, but her mysteries, I find I have to be very patient when I read them. They're not going to be like the Mitford sisters, mysteries. They are not nearly as plot heavy, even though they are mysteries. It's hard to explain. They are so worth the time and the effort, though. I really love them, and I just find her writing to be so incisive and just beautiful and delightful and precise. It's just got this real pristine quality to it. Okay, then the next one is the Josephine Tay series by Nicola Upson. So this is a series where Josephine Tay is the sleuth. The first one in the series I liked, didn't love, but I've only read the first one, so I want to give the series a continued try. And just make sure I want to, if I want to continue. I think I do want to continue, so hopefully I will. Then the Commissario Brunetti series by Donna Leone. I have read 9 out of the 33, so this is a very long series. It's set in Venice, Italy, and I just adore this series. My one hang up with the series is often the cases are to do with kind of government corruption, and that's just not going to interest me as much. But the characters of Brunetti and his family and Donna Leone's writing are what keep me coming back to the series. So I just wish that there were more of them, that I was interested in the case. Although I looked at the synopsis for the next one, and it looks like a case that I would be interested in. Then we have the Brother Cadfael series by Ellis Peters. This is set, I think it's 13th century England. I have read 6 out of the 20, and I really love this series, particularly the audiobooks narrated by Patrick Tull. Brother Cadfael is a monk, and the cloistered living, I just find that such a lovely kind of vignette to have for a mystery format. And I love how invested Brother Cadfael is in his community and in people really thriving and doing well. So I find him a really winsome character. Then another one I've only read 1 out of is the Lily Adler series by Katherine Shelman. This is set in the Regency era, and I think it's The Body in the Library, or The Body in the Garden. That's what it is. The Body in the Garden was the first one. And I really loved it when I read it. So now there are 4 out, and I looked, and the 4th one is a Christmassy themed one. So I think that could be a good project in 2024 to try to read books 2 and 3 sometime throughout the year, and then have book 4, the Christmassy one, saved for December 2024. So hopefully I will be strategic. Then the next one is the Lady Darby series. So I know I just recently held that one up. Here we are. So the Lady Darby series, this is the 5th out of 11. I absolutely love this series. It is as gripping to me kind of as the Mitford Sisters Mysteries. They are almost thriller-ish. They're on the darker side plot-wise. So you do have to know that going in. It's set right in between the Regency and Victorian era in Scotland. And I find Lady Darby such a fascinating character. She is an artist, and recently she's gotten married. I love following kind of what is going to happen to her life, and she has some really lovely familial relationships. So definitely a rewarding series to continue reading and seeing all the developments happening with her life. Then the Highland Bookshop Mystery Series by Molly McRae. I have only read the first one, but it's definitely in the cozy category. A little sleepy Scottish town, and she runs a bookshop, so very cozy and lovely for a book lover, and I would love to continue on with that series. And I think it was Scones and Scoundrels was the first one in the series. So the punny titles are there. Then the Myrtle Hardcastle series by Elizabeth C. Bunce. This is a series that I had to try a couple times, and I'm really glad I gave it another try. It is set in the Victorian era. Yes. And it's a middle grade mystery series, and Myrtle has a governess who she's very close with, and her father is a widower, so she does not have a mother, so the governess is very much a mother figure to her. And I love kind of all of the tenacity that Myrtle has to investigate these crimes. And the next one in the series, the third, I'm really hoping to read in December because it is set at Christmas time. So hopefully I will. And then another middle grade series is the Aggie Morton series. And this is one, Marta Jocelyn is the author. And the next one in the series, which is only the second, I've only read the first one, is also set at Christmas time. So hopefully 2 cozy middle grade mysteries I could read around the holidays. Then the Miss Marple series by Agatha Christie. I've only read A Murder is Announced. So this is one I don't think I'll necessarily read in order. I might, I don't know. But I loved A Murder is Announced so much. It's one of my favorite Agatha Christie I've ever read. So very excited to continue on in the Miss Marple series. And I did think of the other series that I had forgotten. It's the Electra McDonald series by Ashley Weaver. This is set... I think it's World War II era, and I found the main character of Electra McDonald, also called Ellie by her family, so fascinating. They are safe crackers, or safe breakers, and so that alone. So A Key to Deceit was the first one, so they all kind of have something to do with keys and unlocking in their titles. And I think there are 3 out, and maybe the 4th one is coming out next year, so I need to jump on it and keep up with that series. And then lastly, I did think of one more too, the Inspector Chopra series. I absolutely adored wholeheartedly the first one in that series, so I would love to continue on with it. That is the 32nd series to tell you about, so hopefully this video is not too long and overwhelming. I will have all of the series with their authors listed in the description so you don't lose track of them. Thank you as always for watching. I hope that you enjoyed hearing about these mystery series, and I will be back with another video soon. Bye!